Hi everybody, Dana here. We are coming into a new year, 2023 tomorrow, so I just wanted to jump on and wish all my members a very happy new year and to just share with you a few different ideas I've been thinking about as to how we can become a little bit more successful in 2023 toward our health, our fitness, and our wellness. I believe that our health is something that we don't often think about until it becomes a problem, until it unravels in some way. So when we're feeling great, it can be so easy to just not think about having to do the exercise, having to eat healthy. But when something goes wrong, it's often a moment of, oh my goodness, I just wish I felt well. I just wish I didn't have that pain in my shoulder, that pain in my lower back. I just wish that I looked after my body that little bit more in those years before, so I now am not dealing with things like diabetes, cholesterol, blood pressure, heart disease. And so we are in a very special time in our life, in our midlife, to give us an opportunity to make change now for prevention rather than cure. And so because we are now wise women, we don't want to go into our new year with, I'm going to lose weight, because we just know that 85% of those that make a New Year's resolution actually go off the rails and give up within 21 days. So it's not the answer. But I've been listening to a few different ideas lately, and one idea that really caught my attention that I chose to do myself this year and have found it really helpful is this idea of, rather than I'm going to lose weight in the following year, my New Year's resolution, we sit down and we take a moment to reflect on what worked well for us in the last 12 months, and we reflect on what didn't work quite so well for us in the last 12 months. So I wanted to share with you this concept of how we do this as an opportunity for maybe you to do this in the next couple of days and give me some feedback as to how this potentially can help to steer you in the right direction in 2023. So girls, the way it goes is you grab a piece of paper, yep, good old-fashioned paper, grab a pen and put a column down the middle, and on one side you put a plus and on the other side you do a minus. So it's very technical, as you can see. And on the pluses, you write down what worked well for you throughout the last 12 months. Now, you may look at that from an emotional point of view, you may look at that from a physical point of view, you may even look at that from a mental point of view, and I'll share with you mine just to give you a bit of an idea. And you write down all the things that worked for you. They made you feel good, they seemed to work, they had a good outcome, you were able to get results for what you did. So write them all down. It might be food, it might be type of exercise, it might be relationships, it might be time management, just whatever worked for you. And then on the negative, I want you to write down what did not work so well for you. What was a fly in the ointment? What got you stuck? What stopped you from being able to achieve what you were wanting to achieve in 2022? And giving this time to reflection actually gives you an opportunity to then go, well, what do I want to do different in 2023? And in that moment, you now have an opportunity to say, well, what I do want to do different is all those things that were not working for me, I want to work toward taking them out of my life. And those things that did work for me, well, I want to keep those things because they've been ticking the boxes. So we make sure that they are included in our weekly diary or our weekly schedule. And so I thought it'd be a good idea for you to hear some of mine and how this may have you think a little bit more about yours. And I would love to hear your comments around yours once you've done it and see how you feel about this. So girls, I felt that this has been really beneficial for me. And rather than going into the new year with, oh, what are my goals? What are my, my big things I want to get done? I haven't done that. What this has done for me is given me an opportunity to understand the areas in my life that I need to work on. So this has been fantastic for me. So rather than making that goal of lose weight or get fit, this has been interesting. So to share with you mine, I'll share with you what has been working for me. I'll go over that quickly because I'd rather get to what hasn't working so you can understand how potentially I can change next year to help myself to be able to be functioning in a more effective way to be able to achieve my personal goals, yeah? So girls, what has been working for me is getting up super early and doing my morning routine. So my morning routine is my water as soon as I get up and going to do my exercise and doing everything that I do very early before I get my day started. What also has worked well for me is I have some rituals that I do during those mornings, and there are two types of meditation. One is what I call a 2-minute loving kindness meditation. You can look that up on the internet if you want to know more about that. And another one that I do is my 5 senses meditation, and you can look that up as well if you wanted to know more about that. So they've been working well for me. I also do a focus routine. It's a type of meditation practice that allows my brain to settle down for me to become into more of a rest and repair type state and allow me to be able to be more creative in my programming around being able to help my clients. So I do this practice and it really is beneficial to me. My green juice, I do my green juice for alkalinity of my blood and also for my health, and it's been a game changer for me in regard to my gut health, in regard to being super regular, loads of fiber, loads of micronutrients, and it's definitely been a positive for me. I do have a meeting with myself every week and I talk to my girls about this, I reflect on my week before about what I did well. I also revise what I am doing and then I reset every Monday. So I do that on a weekly basis, and that is definitely been something that does work well for me. Another thing that I found was working well for me was when I was stepping outside of my comfort zone. So when I was creating challenges for myself and I was stepping outside my comfort zone to hit those challenges, what I found that did for me personally was made me feel like I was achieving. And so that's been a positive thing. And just to give you a tiny little example of that is it's just silly little things like when I'm in the gym, I'll try and do that one more repetition, or I'll try and progress. So I might do a little bit heavier in my weight, or I might do the next level in a certain exercise, and it might only be one exercise and it may only be one extra repetition, but it is that constant pushing of my boundaries and that constant pushing out of my comfort zone that for me has allowed me to realize that I have more potential than I realized, and gives me that feeling of I'm progressing. And we all know that feeling of I'm achieving, I'm progressing, I'm heading toward. There's nothing quite like it, and it gives you that encouragement and that motivation to keep going. I've also found that I've really enjoyed writing, teaching you girls, education, and I really love aerobics. So I've put that on my positive list because 80s aerobics is my thing. Step classes, all those sort of things. So I really enjoy teaching those type of classes. I also have written down my evening ritual. So my evening ritual does consist of certain supplements. It also consists of certain practices like my pelvic floor strengthening, my breath work, and all that sort of stuff has really aided me in being able to have a good sleep schedule. My blood work I get done every 3 months, so my test and measure mentality around blood work has been a real game changer for me, making sure that my blood work is where it should be and doing what I need to do to correct that if that isn't as it should be, in the form of bioidentical hormone treatment. And also things like I have a thing called a happy list, and my happy list are those things that I'm able to do that bring me into rest and repair. So it takes me out of stress and into relaxation, and they are little things. They're things like going for a walk with Pluto, playing the ball with Pluto, maybe making a phone call to one of my kids, out in the sunshine, going for a walk, listening to binaural beats, all that sort of stuff, doing a yoga nidra. So it's different practices that I have allow my body to come into what I would call a positive state. And I've found that that's been fantastic for me, because I believe as humans, our natural go-to is to look at what can go wrong in life, negative, and when we're constantly focused on what could go wrong or the negatives or what is going wrong, it's stopping us from having those feelings of what we're grateful for and what's going right in our life and what we should appreciate. And so I feel like when I'm working in my happy list on a regular basis throughout my day, I'm pulling myself back into that feeling of being grateful and joyful and happy and present. Yeah, so that's been on my... So they're all the things that I just wrote down, and there's probably a whole heap more, but that's been my so far. Now, what is not working for me in the last 12 months that I did want to share with you that hopefully will be helpful for you as you write your list. And you'll find, girls, as you do this list, you might be out on a walk and you think, oh, I didn't write that on my list, and stuff will start to come to you. And I tended to bucket these rather than do specific things. So just to share with you my buckets, one thing that did not work for me in 2022 was mindless scrolling on social media. And the reason being is I noticed my emotional state after doing that was agitation. And so at some level, unconsciously, I didn't notice I was doing it consciously, but I must have been doing some sort of comparing. And it was making me feel down. It was making me feel not enough, not good enough. And I don't like that feeling. So I purposefully stopped mindlessly scrolling. I would only go into social media for a purpose, whether it's to look at my comments, to reply to those, or to post social media, or to do whatever I needed to do, but I wasn't doing mindless scrolling. And I found that it changed. It made me feel lighter, gave me more energy. So definitely something for me to continue to think about in 2023. What also didn't work for me, and this is something I continue to work on, is I'm a massive people pleaser, massive. And so what I've noticed is if I'm face to face with groups of people, visitors in our home, I get like a anxiety that is awful. Like it's, I get flustered, I get overwhelmed, I get anxious, I get really no, you don't see me relaxed at all. I'm just in my head, and when I'm away from that, it's like I actually collapse to get over it. It's like my body just goes into shutdown to be able to repower myself, to be able to go again. And I came to realize that it's because at a deeper level, I am at some level trying to people please. So when I've got people in my home, I'm like having this expectation on myself of what I should be doing for people, what the expectation around etiquette is, what the expectation around having a visitor enjoy themselves, all these different things. And I was putting so much pressure on myself that it was creating a definite anxiety. So it's given me a bit of a this reflection has given me an opportunity to look at that deeper and understand how maybe in 2023 I can continue to work on this and be able to be stronger to stop this from happening. Another area that I felt didn't serve me is lack of patience. So I'm not the most patient person on the planet. So what I've noticed is I want something, I want it now. Sort of I want the house cleaned, I want it cleaned now. I want to do something for my clients or for social media, I want to do it now. And so I realized that my patience is very low. So it's something I want to work on. Once again, I found that 2022, when I was in my comfort zone and I wasn't pushing out of my boundaries, I became what I would call stale. I felt like it was another day, just sort of bored, stale, like not progressing at all, just really holding. And it gave me a feeling of can't be bothered, lack of motivation. So I started to understand the benefit of getting out of my comfort zone, hence talking what I did to you in regard to my exercise. And I've been doing this in a few different areas of my life, challenging myself, because this comfort zone thing did not serve me in 2022. Once again, lack of boundaries. So I found that I have certain triggers around certain things, and I need to put boundaries into place so I am not triggered by that stuff. And I noticed that I was a bit lax in creating those boundaries, especially around family. So I'm having to put those into place for 2023. I also found that by me being such a go, go, go girl, that what did not serve me was that go, 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 because what it was doing was stopping me from slowing down enough to take a breath and to reflect, to think about, is this working for me? So I was so busy doing, I was not busy enough being, if that makes sense. And so it once again for me, I need to understand that slowing down has a purpose. And in my head it's like I've got this idea about laziness, I guess, but I think that must be more a childhood type thing, because as an adult I really see it as a beneficial thing to take a moment to think about things and to breathe and to make better decisions. So I'll be going into 2023 doing that. And the last thing that I wrote down here was I have a personality where I can be very indecisive. And once again, I feel that that comes from an upbringing where I was taught to be the support in my family and not the decision maker in my family. And so this has not served me in my business. It has not served me in my life, because I don't make decisions. I'm waiting for everybody else to make decisions on my behalf. And so the reason I share that all with you girls is this isn't like, I want to get super fit, I want to lose weight, or in my sense, I don't want to lose weight. But I mean, what this has done for me is going, okay, this is what hasn't worked for me in 2022. This is what I need to concentrate on in 2023. So my goals coming into tomorrow look like, how am I going to continue the practice of not scrolling on social media? How am I going to create some strong boundaries around what things trigger me? How am I going to lessen people pleasing? How am I going to create a little bit more patience? How am I going to continue to push outside my comfort zone? And how am I going to put in practice some slowing down things that help me to have a moment to think? So I hope that's maybe been helpful to you girls coming into 2023 around your health, your fitness and your wellness, because I think that the secret to becoming healthy, fit and well as older women is taking action of some sort. And I know from working in this area for 30 years now that it is establishing new habits, but we can become overwhelmed when we've got 6 new habits. We've got to eat properly, we've got to exercise 45 minutes 7 days a week, and all these new habits just become overwhelming and you go, it's all too much. So I believe that if we can really crack the code of tiny little steps, one little change, nail that little change, add on to that change. It might be, I'm going to be an exerciser. Well, you may be an exerciser that starts at 5 minutes a day. It still makes you an exerciser. You may be somebody that's going to 223 going, I'm going to be healthy. Your healthy may look like, I'm going to have a glass of water when I get out of bed of a morning, and that may be your starting point. The fact is, no matter where you are, progress is progress. And I think about that sailing boat analogy, that if you're both sailing and one sailboat goes 1 degree in a different direction, well, that 1 degree over a period of time creates quite a long distance between this sailboat and that sailboat. They will end up in very different destinations. And so by you making just a 1 degree change in your health, your fitness, your wellness on a daily basis over the period of a year, you can make transformational changes. And the gap from where you were today to where you can be in 352 days is huge. And so girls, I just want to say I am here for you each step of the way. Please consider being a part of our team, a part of our tribe with our Live Longer online health club. Make health and wellness a part of your life. And I wrote down a saying here that if we do commit to be fit in 2023, it's just about getting started. That's all I want you to think about. It's not about, I've got to be able to do this and this and this. It is just about getting started. All right, girls, have a lovely night and a great new year tomorrow, and I'll see you all 2023. Take care.